So this week I ticked another job off my list, and that was to box in the open risers on our staircase. And that was mainly because I didn't like the dirt keep falling through onto the furniture, and it wasn't very homely, and I really want a carpet. So keep on watching and I'll show you how I did it. So the first thing I had to deal with was where this step had separated on a join. And to fix it, I teased it open slightly and poured in some Titebond 2 wood glue that I already had and clamped it together with 3 clamps. And while I left that overnight, I decided to add some nail plates underneath as well for extra strength, but fixed from underneath with screws. I don't know if this was necessary, but it was peace of mind. Well, that fixed it. Then the next day, it was time to work out the measurements for the boards that I'd put at the back of the risers. 63.5. 19, bang on 19. And because I had 18mm MDF still out from my radiator cover project, I thought the offcuts from that were perfect. Wow, that is lucky. That is bang on. What are the chances of that? Right, let's cut this one down. Maybe we can get 1, 2, maybe we can get 4 panels out of it. Oh, I'm going to have to go out and buy some more. And I had 10 19cm deep strips to cut. So I clamped the wood on my sawhorses and took it outside in my back garden and cut with my circular saw. Yes, I will definitely make a fence at some point for this. So I'm testing to see if it was all right. And I can use some caulk later. Then I went ahead and cut the rest of them as well. Then it was time to fix them to the stairs. And I decided to pre-drill holes along the bottom first so I could fix them to the step, and then I'd countersink them as well. But you could make this so much quicker if you bought a drill bit with a countersunk bit. Then I'd add some strong wood glue to where my drill holes are, and then along the top where I'm going to fix from the top. Now initially I started clamping them to the step just to give me more time, but I didn't find it that essential. And then I'd also drill through those holes straight into the back of the step because I was going through painted mahogany. So right now I've got a combination square and I've measured it to the depth of this lip, and I'm going to mark along the top of this step of where that starts, and then I'm going to draw around this piece because this is the thickness that I need to screw into. So I draw from behind, then I've got exactly where I need to do my pre-drilling and then screwing. Here's a better angle on how I did it. Although it did get slightly trickier as I got to the top because my tool belt wouldn't hold both drills and I'd have to keep going up and down them to get what I needed. So early next morning I decided instead of cutting my awkward steps first, I didn't want to annoy neighbours, I decided to do the majority of the caulking. But I'm using Painter's Mate for this by GSL, I think that's what it's called. This is brilliant stuff and it's flexible, and I just apply it along all of the cracks and go over it with a damp finger. And I find this so much easier to blend in than normal caulk. I filled the screw heads with filler. And then because my stairs returned slightly, I had to use a bevel gauge to hold it against the corner and work out what angle I needed to cut my wood. And after adjusting the blade on my circular saw, I made the cut on the very end of a long piece first, the same depth of course. I'm just testing to see if the angle was right, and it was. And then I'd measure how long I needed to cut it down and transfer that mark onto the board. And I'm marking the bevel gauge just as a guide so I don't mess up, because I need this cut to be accurate. You've got lots of sawdust on you. Oh, love it. And after gluing and screwing that one as before, I repeated the same method to get the other angles as well, and glued and screwed. But the bottom step I was going to leave because I just wanted to paint the thing. And quite a few of you convinced me on Instagram just to cut a piece. I wedged it in with a wooden mallet, had to tweak it slightly from behind. and I decided to screw from the left. So I'm marking the thickness of the MDF again, drilled holes, countersunk them and screwed into place. Repeated that exactly the same from the top, but for the back I found it so much easier to fix with connector blocks, and that took any movement away from it. So once I've finished painting, I need to think of ways to redesign the handrails because it currently doesn't meet building regulations here in the UK, and the gaps are deeper than 100mm, which I believe is the maximum allowed. The idea is that a baby's head should not be able to fit through. If you've got any design ideas and tips, please comment below and I'll take it on board, and then I can think about having a carpet fitted and get it more homely. So yeah, hopefully you found this video useful, and if you do anything differently, feel free to comment below, and hopefully I'll see you in my next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.